Entire country takes the exact same test, and it's like all of us Portland students are going to be way behind.
Clara Gordon is a sophomore at McDaniel High taking AP Psychology. She joined the class late, 3 weeks into the fall semester. And with teachers on strike, she's already missed 6 weeks of class time.
It's hard enough to stay on track and to fully learn everything, and now it's going to be way harder.
Other students agree.
There is things that I can learn away from the classroom, but it really isn't the same.
Rowan Racinos is taking AP Spanish and Biology. And while both students support teachers, they admit learning isn't the same at home.
It's difficult because we're really reliant on our teachers.
While Racinos thinks students can be ready for exams, some parents are less certain.
They're on their own right now.
Eric Happel's daughter is in Lincoln High's IB program, a 2-year-long program where students can receive college credit for courses, though
the IB test date is set in stone.
Like AP's, exams are in May.
We're going to see some kids that are going to have a very hard time getting through this.
We reached out to Portland Public Schools to see if there were plans to make up lost class time before these May exams. We haven't heard back, though with each passing day and a deal still not reached, stress for some students grows.
I'm sure I'm way behind, but I have no idea.
And as frustrations continue to mount, the two sides are still bargaining in hopes of reopening schools by Monday, November 27th. In Northeast Portland, Thomas Schultz, KGW News.
And stay with KGW for the latest on the Portland teacher strike, however long it lasts. You can catch up on our past coverage and look for updates on KGW.com and streaming on KGW+. Well, the weekend started off very calm. Lots of sunshine this morning and dry conditions. Taking a look outside right now, we're seeing some changes move in. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is in the Weather Center right now. And Joe, we're seeing really strong winds and rain this evening, right?
Yeah, the winds haven't really kicked in yet, but what we have been seeing is a lot of rain. We've seen close to about 0.2 of an inch of rain outside our studios here in the Goose Hollow neighborhood of Southwest Portland. And some locations are going to be seeing maybe double that by the end of the weekend. But most of that rainfall, Tim, is going to be falling between right now and the early morning hours. Here's a look at the radar. We are looking at some greens. The one thing you might notice is a little bit of that pink color. Yeah, it's a mix of some rain and snow throughout the Oregon Cascades. You're going to be seeing several inches of snow late tonight and into tomorrow morning. So traveling over the Oregon Cascades will be somewhat treacherous here over the next basically 24 hours or so. Rainfall amounts look like this. Now, a lot of this is basically since I'd say about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon. 1/3 of an inch over in wine country in both McMinnville and Aurora. Portland, you're looking at just over 0.2 of an inch of rain. Lighter amounts the more north you go. That's because some of those heavier bands of rain haven't been moving through just yet. Again, it's been really wet throughout the southern part of the state and, of course, throughout the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. East side of the state seeing a little bit of some measurable amount of rain as well. Right now, we're looking at a temperature of 45 degrees in downtown Portland. And once that front starts to really pick up here in the next couple of hours, we'll see the winds pick up along with the heavier downpours. Now, there's a slight chance there could be some thunderstorms that could materialize throughout parts of the Oregon coast late tonight and into tomorrow. We did see daytime highs right around the low to mid 50s up and down the I-5 corridor, close to 60 degrees along the Oregon coast. Now, I mentioned the snow throughout the Oregon Cascades, Tim. Again, I'm forecasting maybe 2 to 5 overnight, another 3 to 6 potentially by the end of tomorrow. So you do the math there, you're looking at close to 1 foot of snow throughout the Oregon Cascades, which is great news for those ski resorts who are waiting to open for the season. This color you see, that white color, is that winter weather advisory that is in place tonight until the end of tomorrow. Again, the advisory is for folks at 4,000 feet and higher. That includes government camp. But again, if you're going to be traveling in that direction, be prepared for some almost whiteout conditions because gusts up the mountains could be anywhere from about 30 to 40 miles an hour. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Okay, Joe, thanks a lot. In local headlines, a motorcycle rider is dead after colliding with a car last night in Gresham. It happened just before 6 p.m. on Northeast 181st Avenue, just off of I-84. The motorcyclist died before they could be taken to the hospital. Police say the driver of the car did stay at the scene and cooperated with investigators. No word yet what may have caused that crash. This marks the 11th traffic fatality this year in the city of Gresham. And one person is dead after a rollover crash in southeast Portland early this morning. Boy, what a mess out there. It happened around 240 at Southeast Powell and 28th Avenue. The car hit what appears to be a stone wall in front of a business, flipped, and ended up on its roof. The driver pronounced dead at the scene. Police haven't said yet whether drugs or alcohol may have been a factor. This is the 62nd traffic-related death in Portland this year. Well, a man is behind bars after police say he fired a gun in a porta potty at the Rose Quarter and tossed the gun into the tank. This is what it looked like after officers had to fish that gun out. Police say the suspect and a woman got into a fight in the porta potty when the shot was fired. The woman was not hit. She was able to run away. After barricading himself inside, officers were able to get him to surrender. It happened while the Lakers were in a shoot-around inside Moda Center for the game last night, and the teams were taken to a secure location as precaution. The man had a warrant out and is now facing a gun charge. Well, two world-renowned musicians came to Portland to play a concert, but instead got ripped off. They are still looking for a prized fiddle and other items. Alistair Fraser and Natalie Haas, you see them here? Well, they tour the world performing. They arrived here on Monday, a day early to enjoy the city. That's when someone broke into their vehicle at a public garage at Southwest 10th and Taylor and stole everything. And they played their show Tuesday night with borrowed instruments. Now they're raising awareness about the theft.
I'm upset about the loss of my stuff, but I'm also upset about the state of play that we have in our inner cities, and not just in Portland.
Well, the cello was returned by someone who bought it on the street for $40, then felt bad about it. But everything else, including Fraser's fiddle, still missing. He is asking everyone to keep eyes out in pawn shops, online, anywhere to help him get his belongings back, and Natalie's too. And we got more information at KGW.com. Well, police were able to arrest 4 people and recover a stolen car this week, thanks to the help of a popular Facebook group. Ashley Grams talked with one man who spotted the stolen car.
This was the scene Thursday night in the Centennial neighborhood, near the intersection of 145th and Southeast Division. And that is the stolen car that started it all.
We noticed a car sitting in the parking lot from our person was standing on the outside of the vehicle, kept looking back at us. I knew it looked suspicious.
Chaz found the Volkswagen while he was out roaming the neighborhood, and not by accident. He volunteers his time searching for stolen cars, working with the Facebook group PDX Stolen Cars. Titan Crawford is the founder of the group and says Chaz is one of the most committed volunteers on the team.
He'll sit for hours from a long distance, keeping an eye on the vehicles. He's got a 100x zoom on his phone and to update police with the locations.
Chaz has asked us not to show his face, as his hobby often leads to the arrest of the person behind the wheel.
We deal with it all the time. We get a lot of the more dangerous ones.
Chaz quickly called Portland police about the car he spotted at Fred Meyer. Officers were able to stop the car outside the parking lot, but one man ran away.
He got away for quite a while, but they had the place surrounded very quickly. A lot of officers.
Police issued a shelter-in-place order and called in the crisis negotiation team.
But this one was a very big scene. So many officers, I couldn't believe it.
A couple hours later, the man was arrested. The other 3 people in the stolen car were detained. Chaz says for him, it's not about the criminals. It's about helping other Portlanders recover what they've lost.
We don't do this for donations or anything. We do this because we love our community. We want to help. So when we get to tell them that we have their vehicle, it's the best feeling in the world. Just get that thank you, it feels good.
And the work they're doing alongside Portland police is making a difference.
Police have reported that there's less stolen vehicles, and we've seen that reflected in the amount of posted vehicles.
Ashley Grams reporting there. Well, trauma surgeons at OHSU handle the most severe and complex cases year-round, like gunshot wounds and motor vehicle crashes. But the single most common cause of traumatic injuries at the hospital is treating people who fall at ground level. It's a trend that the hospital says they've seen more of in older patients. Nationwide, people 65 and older account for about 3/4 of traumatic fall injuries. OHSU treated nearly 900 fall injuries that required entry into the trauma system last year alone. That's a 91% jump from 6 years ago. Now the hospital has launched a study on how to reduce the risk of ground level falls.
Falling is not a normal part of aging. This is not expected. It's not inevitable. And you can do something about it. Please talk to us, talk to your primary care, talk to nurse friends, talk to people you know, talk to friends and family. There's lots and lots of things that can be done that are easy and cheap to help keep you on your feet and keep you living your life.
Well, that doctor is now calling ground level falls a public health emergency. She emphasizes the importance of physical activities like aerobic exercise, strength training, and practicing your balance. In our homeless crisis, some neighbors in Multnomah Village are expressing new concerns about Portland's plans to expand a safe rest village there. Right now, the tiny home community is the smallest of the 7 in the city with 30 units versus 60 at most of the others. At this point, details are limited, but the city says it plans to hold a listening session with neighbors later this month. Here's what some people who live near the village told us.
I went from having a quiet, peaceful home, a place where I always felt comfortable, relaxed, and safe, to always kind of being on edge.
I was more frustrated with the city in regards to the fact that the communication seems to be a one-way street.
The city says it served some 572 people across its safe rest villages between July of last year and September of this year. Well, there's a new policy regulating how Oregonians can buy some of the rarest liquor in the world. The changes come after some members of the OLCC were caught abusing the state's rare liquor lottery system. For more on this, here's KGW's Catherine Cook.
It's been 9 months since 2 top executives were ousted from the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. Their resignations, requested by the governor, came amid scandal. Investigators found that for at least 8 years, some top OLCC managers would set aside hard-to-get bottles of liquor when it came into the state to purchase for themselves. In Oregon, the state buys and taxes all hard liquor, then sells it to independently operated liquor stores. That includes rare booze like Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. The OLCC says each year they only get around 3 or 4 bottles of it. As first uncovered by the Oregonian, top managers at the OLCC would have some of the bottles set aside before the public had a chance to buy them in a lottery system. On Thursday,
we've got a new chance to purchase policy.
The OLCC board announced changes to that system. It's called the Chance to Purchase policy. Previous lotteries for the public were held about 3 times a year, with around 100 bottles up for grabs each time. Now, they'll hold lotteries quarterly.
I think that it's very important that we try to reestablish the trust in the public.
Rich Evans is Senior Director of Licensing and Compliance with the OLCC. He says with the quarterly drawings, they hope to increase the amount of items available to the public. And all of it will be on record.
So it'd be auditable and to show the public that there is no funny business and that we are above board in how we're doing this.
In the near future, Evans says the OLCC will use a third-party vendor to conduct the raffles. What won't change is how they allocate the rare liquor to stores. 30% will still be reserved for licensees, with the other 70% sold to the public.
Everybody has a fair shot at having these items.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.